I'm in the 6th gear, 70 speed, so even I can lower the speed. Yeah, and it's in 50s now. And when I gently open the throttle, or if I whack up on the throttle for that matter, servicing the motorcycle, because you see how it is going with the Triumph nowadays. With the Speed 400, the Scramble 400, they are actually bombarded. So now let me combine all the negatives which I found this motorcycle, which can be improved or which can be lived with. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the review of the Aprilia RS 457, the most anticipated two-cylinder motorcycle for this year. So first of all, before the review starts, I want to make one statement very strong here, because this is going to be a very practical review. This is not going to be an Aprilia hater review or neither an Aprilia fan base review. And another thing is, to all my dear Aprilia fans over there, this is not a review for you, because I got a lot of bad news for you, and I've dragged myself on this bike too long in the city, too long on the highway. This is from a purely rider's perspective. It's not a track review. It's purely if you use this motorcycle inside city on breakfast rides, or you're taking this on the highway as a touring machine. So let's get into the review. First of all, the styling. Oh man, look at the motorcycle. This actually has 80 to 90% of that race feeling from the Aprilia. So if you look at the bigger brothers like the Aprilia RSV4 or the 210, this get a lot of inspiration from the bigger brothers. Sometimes some company, what they does is, when they bring in smaller motorcycle, they cut down everything and the looks will be very minimal to what the bigger brothers has. But this one is literally, you park it next to an RSV4. Sometimes you will actually look into this motorcycle first. And this comes with 3 paint schemes, and out of that I have to say that I like this color more. This is actually a matte color variant, and it has done a gloss PPF. That's why it looks a little more glossy and shiny. This one actually changes color and it looks so good. So from the front, actually, let's see that big Aprilia logo over here, and the DRLs which we have already seen with the 210s and the RSV4s, and there's a RAM air intake over here, and actually the number plate comes over there. Unfortunately, I don't have the number plate now, and the mirror actually looks good in my opinion. It doesn't look so bad. Generally for sports motorcycles it is like that, and the mirror is actually foldable, so it looks good in that way as well. So let's keep it like that. It looks good. So coming over here, we can see the fins, that big small letter A, which is the starting letter of Aprilia, and R is written over there, and the engine, man, what a cool engine. In the sense, not while it is running, but it's very fun-filled engine. It's a very unique engine when we compare with the Ninja or the R3. Let's talk about the engine a little later. It's the 457 2-cylinder 270-degree crank, and very sharp design tank. This looks very neat. And one issue which I faced with this tank is that this comes in and touch over here. So that's the only thing. So when we sit on the bike and when we do that, this finger get a little bit of crushed. Beautiful looking seat. Surprisingly, the pillion seat feels more comfortable than the rider seat. I don't know why. Look at this. This is more comfortable than this rider seat, and the pillion seat is roomy, spacious. Seat height is not that high, and if we sit over here, the seat height is not so high for a 5'6" guy. While riding, actually we have to push it to this stance, which gives a lot of racing riding stance. And coming on to this side, this is one space where I didn't like the bike in terms of design. Look at it, man, that ugly looking pillion footrest. And coming on to the rear section, RS457 written over there, a beautiful looking tail. I don't think that you have to do a tail tidy to make this tail sexier, but if you do tail tidy, then it will become more sexier because the tire will get a little more exposed. And there we can see the swing arm, a lot of aluminum parts on this one. So altogether, I'll say that in looks department, it is actually a cooler looking Aprilia. It's so cool. It is so damn sexy looking motorcycle. But yeah, there are some quality issues which I find with this motorcycle, in the sense build quality, because I have ridden Aprilias in the past. In the sense, I have ridden the RSV4s and the 210, and I've seen many other Aprilias as well. So compared to the quality of those Aprilias, I'll say that yeah, there are some hiccups on this motorcycle. So that's the reason why I said that this is not going to be an entire positive review. You have to stay with the video. One ugly looking design which I face is that footrest, and the plastic quality, it doesn't so Aprilia-ish, and a lot of exposed wires which I never expected from Aprilia. And these bolts, man, and those bolts nuts, honestly they don't look so premium. So that's the reason why I told that I am not being a fanboy of Aprilia and making this video, but certainly I have to say that I have now become a fanboy of this motorcycle. So it comes with an undertail exhaust which looks sleek, and there are absolutely no ground clearance issues in normal usage. I've gone through the tallest humps, and with my weight I didn't face any kind of ground clearance issues. And when we just get into the motorcycle, as I said, we'll be sitting over here with a very lower seat height position, and once we start riding, we have to push back and sit so that we get a more sportier riding stance. What a beautiful looking motorcycle, man. Look at that. Distractions. Okay, let's come back to the point. So when we sit over here, what we see is this typical Aprilia clip-ons, and here we can see the front suspension is preload adjustable. Looking onto the switches, there aren't much of switches over here. So let's turn on the key, and we have got a lot of information in this dial. Too much information. Whatever you see with the RSV4, you can expect it over here. So this motorcycle actually comes with 3 riding modes: Sport, Eco and Rain. So basically Sport is full power and less intervention from the ABS. Eco is, I think, a little bit of less power and more intervention of ABS. Rain is less power and more intervention of ABS. And we have a 3-stage adjustable traction control, and this is the tachometer, the gear position indicator, speedometer, and the fuel level indicator, the time odometer, 2 trip meters, lap timer, top speed recorder. We have a lot of things over here, so I'm not going to walk you all the things. I just want to tell you that whatever you see with an RSV4 is there in this one. Even you can pair your mobile phone with this one, and you can have the turn-by-turn navigation and can get call alerts as well. So yeah, switches. On this one we have the press button joystick kind of a thing, which we can use to navigate through this dial, and we have the indicator and the horn switch. And on this side actually we have only 2 switches, the ignition and the engine kill switch, and we have the mode selector. So there is no caution lamp switch, and this motorcycle actually sounds very Italian, in the sense that 270-degree crank actually plays a lot to get this distinctive Italian exhaust note. Be it R3, be it the Ninja 300, I'll say that Ninja 300 doesn't have so much of sweeter sound, all the rev ranges, and when it comes to R3, the R3 sounds good when you ring it loud. But this one, you will get to feel that it's an Italian motorcycle. I have my Ducati Desert Sled, and I have ridden the V4s also from Aprilia. It actually sounds the same. If you ask a Aprilia hater how does it sound, or even for that matter you ask a Ducati hater how does their motorcycle sound, it sounds like a tractor in the beginning and it goes like a race motorcycle. That entire character is there with this engine. It's just a sub 500cc 2-cylinder motorcycle, and they managed to do it with the 270-degree crank. So if you have ever ridden an Italian, you get to know that this sound has a capability of immense power and torque. So if it sounds like this, it actually rides so different. And a little bit of an annoying thing which I faced is that when we keep our feet on the footpeg here, there is a heel rest for every motorcycle. So the heel rest on this motorcycle is actually coming on the swing arm, and when we ride the motorcycle actually it's an unsprung mass, so the swing arm keeps moving and we can get it on the feet. So that's not an ideal thing, or that's not a convenient thing while you are actually riding fast. I don't say that it's something which will stop you buying this motorcycle, but it's not a good design to have, because especially when you're going for the track, when the rear springs are actually compressing and coming back, you get that feel on your feet. So it's not a good thing. So yeah, now let's go for the ride and talk rest of the things. Alright, we are back on road. So as I mentioned, the riding postures are a little onto a sportier side. So if this is my normal riding stance, this is the sportiness that I give to my upper body. Okay, let's pull it hard. Oh yeah, so that's the top speed I have managed on this motorcycle until now. So as you have seen, the kind of energy this motorcycle has is next level, you know. I have to say that I have never ridden any engine like this in the sub 500cc, because it's so tractable and at the same time it's very powerful as well. So practical, powerful engine. I'll explain you how. So what you have seen is the powerful side of the Aprilia 457, but I'll explain you one thing. This is not just powerful, it's friendly as well. we actually categorize the RPM into 3 kinds: the lower RPM, the mid-range RPMs, and the higher RPM. So this motorcycle has got the grunt in the lower RPM, and it has got a very good power in the mid RPM, and it has got juice in the top end RPM as well. So there are very few motorcycles in this entire world which can do this kind of a thing. And also, if you see, I'm in the 6th gear, 70 speed, so even I can lower the speed. Yeah, and it's in 50s now. And when I gently open the throttle, or if I whack up on the throttle for that matter, there are no jerks, no uncomfortable feedback from the motorcycle. It just casually pulls in. So that means this engine can be ridden in slow speeds as well as fast speeds. So that's the good thing which I see about this motorcycle. And it's hell faster. Honestly, in the first and the second gear, it actually feels a lot faster, and it will intimidate a beginner rider for sure. So that's the positive side about the engine. And then what is the negative side of the engine? Yeah, it heats up. It actually heats up, and it pumps the heat actually to the knees. And the thing is, from the knees actually it slowly comes to our thigh area. So yes, the heating is there, but in my opinion, I'll say that of course it's not terribly bad. It is manageable, because once the motorcycle actually starts rolling, then heat dissipation is good. But if you are in bumper to bumper traffic, you'll feel that heat. And is there any vibration? Yes, there are some vibrations in the top RPM, but you don't get to feel that when you are actually opening the throttle. So personally, I own a Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled, so it also has a vibration when it goes to the topper rev range. But on the topper rev range, we'll be doing a lot of fun, man. So yeah, definitely we won't be noticing those vibrations. In the mid RPMs, there are no vibrations, and in the bottom end RPM, it is actually very smooth, very calm engine. So that's about the engine. Now let's come to the other things of the motorcycle. The gearbox, typical Italian gearbox. Again, I'm taking that word Italian because this kind of gearbox I have seen with the Ducatis and the Aprilias. It feels a little clunky, but there are no false neutrals, and the clutch is light, man. It's feather clutch. Generally I see this kind of clutch on a Honda motorcycle. I'm not a Honda fanboy, by the way. I'm just telling that I've seen the lightest clutch in the Honda motorcycle, but the RS457 has beaten Honda in that matter, because this is way comfortable. So to use this inside the city is just not at all trouble. And when it comes to the brake, that is where I just got so disappointed with this motorcycle. By the way, my friend actually given this motorcycle to me, and he has done a hell lot of trials on this motorcycle before coming to this conclusion. So hear me loud and clear. So this one actually runs on sintered pads now. Still no use. And he has tried EBC brake pads on this one. No use. So whatever you do is not helping you in improving the braking. The problem is the brake actually fades. So the brake fading happens when the disc actually heats up a lot and it fades off. And it's too scary as well. When you are on higher speeds, the brake fading is actually real. So you won't get the right amount of braking, and you will actually end up braking a lot far than what you expect. And also the amount of ABS interaction on this motorcycle is too bad in the sport mode. So we have to go to the supermoto mode, where disengaging the ABS in the rear and only the ABS in the front to have a safer and a fun ride. So in that mode, actually the intervention of ABS is a little less. Otherwise the ABS actually kicks in a lot earlier, and it actually kills the fun. And also not kills the fun, man. When we are on a panic situation, the ABS kicks in. We can feel it on the lever. Now I have more rolling distance, so that means my braking distance has been increased. Brakes on this motorcycle is literally bad. So the point I'm making is, the kind of braking feedback or the kind of braking this has is not even 50% of what I expect out of this motorcycle. And coming on to suspension, both the suspension are actually preload adjustable. The front one is preload adjustable and the rear is also preload adjustable. So the current stock settings is onto a stiffer side, and it gives a lot of confidence, you know. I mean, whatever the 184 km/h which I've done, it feels so confident. But for this price point and for this kind of an equipment, I expect Aprilia to give a fully adjustable front suspension. We have already seen Indian made motorcycle, the KTM Duke 390, the Apache RTR 310, which comes with fully adjustable front suspension. So we need that. The preload only don't help a very technical rider when he wants to take this motorcycle in the track. And for that matter, actually, not even in the track, even on the road, actually, I sometimes feel like I need a little more softer setup. So I don't have that kind of a adjustability on this suspension. This is the reason why I told that I'll be talking both positives and negatives on this video. So if you have made it till now, let's continue the journey. And the tire grip actually feels decent. I didn't had any trouble, and the handling on the motorcycle is next level, because this is actually one of the lightest motorcycle with this kind of power I have ever ridden. So it's so light and it's so nimble. You can easily maneuver around it. Even in city traffic, you can easily flick around, filter through the traffic. But again, I'm not doing that just because of the brakes, because I had an incident where I had to hard brake, and then the ABS actually turned down, and after that I'm actually riding a little slow, both inside city and on the highway. So it's very light to ride. It's a very easy motorcycle and it pulls faster. And the riding posture, as I said, it's onto a sportier side, so it gives a lot of confidence to ride this motorcycle. And the clip-ons are actually wide, so that also gives a lot of leverage. And one thing is like what I told, so if we are doing a very hard turn, then this handle actually comes and almost touches this portion of the tank, and there is a chance that our thumb will get crushed in between. It's an observation. So this is the riding posture. So if we are sitting like this and turning the motorcycle, our hand will come and touch over here. So now let's come to the ownership part. So this motorcycle actually comes for 5.25 lakh, which I believe that it's a very good price. I don't have any complaints about it, and that pricing is also good so that this doesn't become a very common motorcycle on the road. Imagine if it is priced at 4 lakh or even lesser than that. The problem is you will see a lot of motorcycles on the road, and definitely it's not that this is losing the exclusivity. Aprilia will have a very hard time servicing the motorcycle, because you see how it is going with the Triumph nowadays. With the Speed 400, the Scrambler 400, they are actually bombarded, and those who are the owners of this motorcycle will get some amount of attention since this is priced a little higher than 5 lakh. But I'll say that you could have added the adjustable suspension in this one with this price point. And the mileage of this motorcycle, my friend was getting something like 19 to 21, and even in the forums, that's what I see. And I have an observation that if I ride faster, the mileage is less, and if I ride slow, then also the mileage is less. I don't understand why, but if I'm riding like this in 80 or 90 kilometer, I get the best mileage, which will be something like 24 kilometer per liter. Don't expect beyond that. And the worst mileage that I found on the internet is 17 kilometer per liter. And this goes for service once in 6,000 kilometers. Obviously the first service is in 1,000 kilometers, and that has been done on this motorcycle, so it costed like 3,500 rupees. And don't expect a dead cheap bill on this motorcycle, because definitely when you go for the second service or the third service, it is going to be a little expensive compared to the KTMs and the Husqvarnas that you see in the market now. And I had a look into the accessories list of this motorcycle, and the accessories are actually really costly. Actually, I would expect the quick shifter also to come with this motorcycle, because it's a race motorcycle. It makes more sense to ride this motorcycle with a quick shifter. But overall, I see that the accessories prices are a little higher on this one. So now let's come to the verdict. I'll say that this is definitely the fastest two-cylinder motorcycle, sub 500cc motorcycle that you can buy in India. No doubt about it. But Aprilia fans, please don't hype this so much that you're actually giving birth to many Aprilia haters in India. I don't know, man. I see a lot of new Aprilia fans over the internet who are actually fighting for this motorcycle. Maybe this is the most affordable Aprilia that we are seeing in India now. But you know something? You are actually ruining the name of this motorcycle. It is like, you know, back in 2010 and all, there were blind followers for Royal Enfield. I don't mind saying this openly over here. There were blind followers of Royal Enfield, which actually affected the brand itself. So don't put that faith for Aprilia for now. So what I see is that people are actually telling that, oh, this can beat that one, this can beat a 650cc Interceptor, the R3, the Ninja. Yeah, things are right, man, because this is a more powerful motorcycle, and people are saying that it can do 200 just like that. I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, I know people who have done 200 on this motorcycle, and I know some of them personally as well. But the thing is, there are few things which you have to notice before doing a 200 on this motorcycle. First of all, your body weight should be very light. If you are a heavy person, 200 will take a little more time. So 170 you will get it easily, and after that the speed actually climbs, and it is not on a flat road. It is a little downhill, and you need it. So 170 is something that you can reach easily, and after that the speed climbs. And I did a 184, you saw that, right? And the road was actually not straight, it was going up and going down, but still 184 is which I got. But I have to tell you one thing, I did a 170 plus with pillion, so almost 120 to 140 kg on the motorcycle, and I did a 170 plus. That means the motorcycle actually can do very good speeds. But don't push the motorcycle so hard over the internet that this can beat a Ninja 650 or those kind of things. So unnecessarily, please don't portray this motorcycle in a bad way. So yeah, I think I started from the verdict. So I'll say that if you are looking for a very good track motorcycle, definitely it's a beautiful motorcycle. You can actually ride this motorcycle fast, you can corner this motorcycle fast. Brilliant piece of track machine, no doubt about it. And if you are looking for a city riding motorcycle, yes, this review makes sense, because I've been riding this motorcycle, at least I've been riding this motorcycle inside city for 200 plus kilometers. That too very bad weather, a lot of bad roads. So in my opinion, I'll say that this is not the most comfortable bike to ride inside city, but not the hardest one as well, because since this is light, we can filter faster, but the braking issue is there. once I had a problem that the ABS kicked in really early and I was about to hit a scooter, so then I stopped pushing the motorcycle inside city. And also if you are running through bad patch of road, since I said the suspension is slightly onto a harder side, I was finding it a little difficult, but we have a little more upright riding stance so that it again makes comfortable. So what I'm telling is, if you are having a lot of core strength, you will be able to ride this motorcycle comfortably. But if you find yourself a little onto a heftier side, then I'll say that you will face a little bit of issue because you have to put a lot of pressure onto your hands. And if you ask me if it's a beginner friendly motorcycle, then definitely no, not a beginner friendly motorcycle, because of few reasons. One, it is light. Second thing is powerful. Third thing, the brakes are not good. And fourth thing, you have to start learning a motorcycle on a smaller capacity 150cc motorcycle. Get on an R15, learn it correctly, and then get into this kind of a motorcycle. So now let me combine all the negatives which I found this motorcycle, which can be improved or which can be lived with. So the first thing is obviously the brakes. So if you're buying this motorcycle, you have to spend a solid amount of 40k or something to entirely revamp the front braking system on this motorcycle. Or you wait for some more time whether the Aprilia comes back with a new braking setup and the absence of fully adjustable suspension in the front. So probably if you're a track guy, then you know what to do. You'll be probably going ahead and installing a fully adjustable suspension on this one. And the third thing is obviously the nuts and the bolts which I told, and the kind of plastic that has been used on this motorcycle. Oh, we have an open road, man. And there is one more thing, actually, an interesting factor which I read in internet about these motorcycles. So if you see, this motorcycle is actually light. The main reason is because this comes with an aluminum frame. And what I read is, this is just an observation and a bringing out to the people who understand science better. So let's have a healthy discussion about this in the comment section if you wanted to know about this. Actually, the frame is made of cast aluminum and not forged aluminum like how we see with bigger motorcycles. So the cast aluminum is actually cheap and it is not as rigid as forged aluminum. So the only way actually to test whether this motorcycle has build quality is, if at all somebody goes to the track and have a fall. I know that I shouldn't say this, but if at all there is a fall or something and the chassis is actually holding it up well, then I'll say that yes, this has good quality. Otherwise, this theory is going to get correct that this cast aluminum frame is not a very rigid thing. But yes, obviously it is lighter, no doubt on that. So that's my review on this motorcycle, and I hope this review has helped you. I tried giving all my insights on this motorcycle to this, and as I said, I'm not an Aprilia fanboy, but this motorcycle has made me a fanboy of the Aprilia RS457. So I hope this video is helpful for you, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.